the button by accident, so I feel happy with it. Oh!
Hello!
Welcome to the July Patreon Hangout, the one that Josh didn't get the memo about the royal blue shirt he was supposed to wear.
Oh, come on.
You know, for a moment, I just went, what did I do now? And then I was really relieved, and I was like, what's he gonna... Oh, the shirt's...
How's everyone doing?
Happy July. Cheers.
Cheers.
Historically, when there's a thing that everybody's supposed to do, I will just not do that on purpose anyway, so...
Let's do a temperature check.
Temperature check.
Temperature check.
All right.
As the world starts to burn.
Los Angeles temperature is... Let's go west to east.
It was 72 last I checked. But I don't have my phone. I don't know where my phone is.
All right. In New York City, it is currently 91. Feels like 101.
Oof.
It's hard to get it. Go ahead.
And New England?
It's fuck you outside.
Fuck you, Tommy.
It's fuck you. That's actually what it says.
What number?
Like, I don't know. It was exactly what you just said today.
Yeah, 90 feels right.
Yeah, and that was like at 8 this morning.
That's the worst.
It's awful. Like I have like heat rash on my face. It's not a sunburn.
That's not just Irish complexion.
It's gonna break. It's gonna break tonight though. It's gonna be 81 tomorrow. Mm-hmm. So, which is funny, which pisses me off because it's like I was just talking to my wife about this because I've spent, as we know, and we're going to talk about this, I assume, the past weekend has been San Diego Comic-Con. Right. And while I was not at the con, I was working the con, which meant I was in at work at the office every day until 1 a.m., except today I got home by like 7 or so. So I'm in the air-conditioned office, so I missed all the heat. I was very cool. But and I'm taking off tomorrow and the next couple of days and going out to Long Island where my wife's aunt and uncle have a pool. And I was all excited because it's hot and nothing better than getting in the pool. And I look tomorrow, it's going to be 20 degrees cooler and thunderstorms. And I was like, great, of course. I just spent the 4 days in summer in an office. And now the one afternoon I have free, it's going to rain and not be as hot. And I won't be able to go in the pool.
I, after having what was really not a fun morning around here, I decided I was like, I'm just going to wash my car in the 1,000 degrees outside. And wait, though. So I washed Lindsay's because I'm a good guy. And then I did mine. And I was like, you know what? I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to do a good job with this. I'm going to clean it all up. No rain in the forecast.
Okay.
Finished it up. Went to the supermarket. Torrential downpour while I was inside. It's like, come on!
All right, let me ask you something.
10 minutes.
Let me ask you something. Wait, why is rain? I won. Why is rain? Why is rain after washing a car a bad thing?
Because your car's to get dirty again. Because the dirt sticks on the drops and then it settles in the car after.
Yeah, it puts spots all over it. Like the glass, it like just makes.
I just feel like the process of washing a car is the same as the rain.
It isn't
initially, but then afterwards, if you don't dry the car, then
right,
it's not as effective. But if you leave the water on it,
if you just spray a hose all over a car, it will dry with streaks. Yeah. The point being, though, that the supermarket where I parked it is a mile away. It did not rain at my house. I drove to the cartoonish thundercloud.
One of those localized Ithaca storms.
Greg.
Oh, that's funny.
I have to make an adjustment. You keep talking, I can still hear you, but I got to change something.
I will say, I don't know what Josh just said. I will say that one of the things I do miss from not owning a car.
Oh, shit. Is it earthquake? Is it earthquake?
I told you I had to do something.
Oh my God.
He's leaving. He's out.
He's out. One of the things I do miss not owning a car and living in the suburbs or whatever was I did used to love, putting the baseball game on the radio and washing the car in the driveway, and that like nice, kind of outside time with the car. I do miss that.
It's very zen. Like it's I was like, you know what? I'm going to listen to Mudhoney and Black Flag and I clean my car.
So Josh, tell me what your car cleaning process is. Like, are you a start at the top, go down, work panel to panel to panel? Or how do you approach washing a car?
Well, I'm thinking that everybody here is going, really? For this?
I pay how much a month for this?
I don't know what I'm doing. I don't have a process. Basically, I got a hose.
My father taught me you start at the top because you want the soap to go down.
Yeah. I do.
Sure,
that.
yeah.
And then you work on the front the front fender panel, then the door, and then the back panel.
Yeah, I go around like that.
Yeah. Okay. Right.
Like I rinse the whole thing off, then I do the soapy scrubby thing, and then I rinse it off again, then I dry it. Then I've got I have a clay bar that was taking off some crap that was stuck to it, and then I have like a quick polish thing that I put on it. But I bought an attachment for my drill so I can like buff it.
Jesus.
It's an expensive truck. And anyway. I want it shiny. And it doesn't matter because it fucking rained on it 12 seconds after I was done.
Someone's got a mouth tonight.
It's fuck you outside.
All right, well, so shall we talk about San Diego Comic-Con?
Sure.
I don't know anything about it other than what Connor sent me and the fact that I know Ron's been working.
Ron and I were talking before you got here, Josh, and before the show started. There wasn't a lot of news. DC, in addition to advocating the space, has advocated any announcements.
Before you get into the details, Connor, of the experience, what I heard from people there and on the social media was that it felt very lifeless this year. That there wasn't a lot of energy on the floor. That there was, Would you agree with that, or
like is that like for the people or for like professionals?
Both. The people like you know that feeling when you're on the con
professionals
floor?
Are people as well.
Yeah, professionals.
No, I know, people. But this is different. You have a different take on it.
Yeah.
No, the civilians. But
like how like when you're on the floor, you feel an energy. You know what I mean? I've been to cons where it's like a sleepy con. There's not a lot going on. That energy isn't there. So I don't know.
Yeah. I would agree with that. There weren't a lot of really exciting panels, and those always change the tenor of the show because they get people off the floor. I felt like all the days I was there, it was jam packed, and there's never that one day where all the big panels are happening. Everybody bolted.
Oh, they didn't do the Hall H thing anymore.
No, they do that, but like that is a different crowd than usually is on the floor.
Yeah,
the Hall H people are either in Hall H or they're in line for Hall H. Whereas I'm talking about like a big Marvel Civil War panel or DC Rebirth panel, whatever. Right. There wasn't like a panel where everybody went to see. It was crowded, but it was also like, it's crowded. It doesn't mean it's exciting. It means that you're constantly moving because you stop for 1 second. Security surrounds you and makes you move.
When you say it felt dead, I think of it was a long time ago, but the last time I went to C2E2.
Oh, that's a different kind of dead. C2E2 is always dead because the problem with C2E2 is that they have more floor space than they have con.
Yeah.
So it always it's very roomy at C2E2. You can you can really walk down the aisles and get kind of.
Well, they got to fit those broad shoulders they're always talking about.
Exactly. C2E2 I went to C2E2 last year. And yeah, Jimmy in the chat room is right. It has a great artist alley. It has an enormous artist alley because they have all that room, and it's truly the C in C2E2 is still a dominant comics, unlike San Diego, which Connor and I were talking before the show. And Connor, you said artist alley is getting smaller, right?
Yeah. Now I will put a pin in the idea of San Diego not being about comics. I still think it's about comics, but artist alley is the metaphor we had was it's like Chinatown. In New York, or literally in New York, Chinatown has been squeezing it, and so it feels like every year Artist Alley has like one less aisle in it. And as we know from working the show for so long, basically you can't leave your booth. If you leave your booth, you lose it forever, right? So the booths stay the same, and the names in Artist Alley stay the same, and their names aren't necessarily relevant anymore. And so if you're going to find like I was actually thinking as I was walking around, if we were doing the show still and we had to do interviews, who would we interview? We would have been fucked out of luck this year because there wasn't hardly anybody to talk to in Artist Alley and it's making a relevant comic book right now. And DC doesn't have the booth signings anymore. And Marvel has a very erratic booth schedule. I don't know what we would have done, honestly.
We would have had to change our production. We would have had to plan stuff ahead of time and work with the publishers.
Yeah, exactly.
Did you guys see that joke in the chat room right now?
Yes, I did.
What is it?
That's very funny.
Oh, nice. It is very funny. Nice.
I'm not going to say it out loud because it has to do with something else we're doing.
It's very funny.
So it feels very stale.
No, we're not doing Chinatown Minute.
It feels very stale in ways.
Can I make a confession?
Same booth, same people, same everything.
Can I make a confession? I've never seen Chinatown all the way through.
It's a great
wow.
No, I know it's a great film, but I've seen parts of it, but I've never seen.
Have you seen the end?
Yeah, no, I've seen parts of it, and I've seen
Ron starts with the end of a movie, and he watches the last 5 minutes, and he goes back.
Yeah.
But I just want to say real briefly that DC moving to Warner Brothers did change things, and that is a big new thing. But look, San Diego's a pop culture show. It's been a pop culture show for a long time, but the pop culture is rooted in comics. Half the floor, when you walk in, the right side is all comics, from the company booths to the small press and the dealers who are all selling comic books. It's all, half the floor is comics. And then you take the other half of the floor, 10% of that is Artist Alley, so 5% of the whole floor. And then everything in between is toys and video games and movies, but they're almost all based on comic book properties. The toys that they're selling are comic book toys. The Warner Brothers booths all TV shows, but it's all the comic book TV shows. I mean, it is still a show rooted very firmly within the comic book world, and maybe more pop
superheroes or comic books.
That's what comic books are, superheroes. So, it's still very firmly rooted in that world. I don't walk around and think, what show am I at? You're at a comic book show. Just you can also buy toys of comics. You can also see shows of the comics and movies of the comics. There's very few properties where you're like, why is that here? I've been to shows. Comic Blues in Houston had a fucking mattress booth from a mattress retailer. Like, you don't see that at Comic-Con.
Hold on.
All based on that stuff. You know,
was Artist Alley full? Like, I remember it being very, 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 very crowded. Like
it's
like
still crowded there. Partially because it's so small. But
if anybody had any notoriety or name at all, like, people just filled it up.
Yeah, so Tom King and Mitch Gerrits had a dual table, and they'd be the only real relevant names that are like regularly there. And so when they had a signing, you couldn't walk in that area,
right?
But like, it's the same. It's no different than it's ever been. It's just everything's spread out differently.
It's not more. Is it more crowd? Like, last time I was there was 2013. And
the whole experience is more crowded because the show outside the show is as big as the show now. So you have as many people who go without a ticket because you can do things all day long, all 4 days outside the show. There's activations. You find there was an Orville one, there was a Pennyworth one. There was a
I don't know what that. I don't know what you just said.
It means you go into a building where they've converted it into look like the set of the show, and you walk around. There's props and there's costumes and there's. Sometimes it's like real life where they have actors being the characters. Like they make these, You know
what it is, Josh. It's an activation.
I've never heard that phrase ever.
Okay.
Anyway, there's a lot of those now, and so you can go and be part of the experience without having to get a ticket because it's impossible to get a ticket.
Right.
Which in some ways is good because we used to say if you lived in San Diego, you couldn't just pop down to the show. So now you can. You just can't go in the building, but you can be part of everything else. There's a lot of stuff going on outside. It's a madhouse outside the convention. The Darwin Cook pages I posted. The art, the original art stuff is next to Artist Alley.
Is it one guy who's his dealer?
Well, Albert Moy is Darwin's dealer. He's got all the big people. And what's crazy is he's just got this like bin full of binders, and he's like having conversations. I'm like, you should be paying attention to these binders. But like, he had I looked at Darwin's whole thing. He has a ton of Minutemen and some other stuff.
What were those going for?
900, 1200, 1500, depending on what was in the page.
Wow.
Michael Cho, he had some really good stuff in there. Those are really expensive. I was surprised. Other people who I didn't look at, but he had a lot. Moy's like the main dealer.
Yeah. I remember. Someone I don't have enough detail, but somebody I know, like on Instagram, had posted some original art that they saw, and it was like legendary pages. Like, holy shit! Like those exist. Like it's one of those things that you figure.
There's dealers
it was Wolverine. It was the Wolverine Alone panel from.
It's not that. It's a redraw of that.
Yeah, that was a redraw. That was the original. I saw when Ben posted it, and I did a double take. I'm like, that's not it. Like that was
not it.
Yeah.
I thought it was too, and I was going to take a picture of it. And I looked at it, and I realized it wasn't actually.
Because guess what? That wasn't a splash page. It was a 1/3 of the page. It was a panel.
Right,
page. Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah, I thought the same thing.
Listen. I just thought I said, but there were other ones too. That was the first thing that popped into my head.
There's
But
guys.
there was a couple where
there's all kinds of classic stuff there. You can,
you'll see like a Dark Knight Returns page. Everyone's be like, Jesus.
Yeah.
My old boss would go there and spend.
This belongs in a museum.
Yeah.
Hey man, I'm just waiting when things go badly. I got that whole stack of art that's my safety net, which might be an ill thought of safety net.
I was talking to somebody, one of the reps, the guy who reps Bill Sienkiewicz and Alex Ross, and we were talking about original art and how, because Bill still draws, analog, and so does Alex, and so we were talking about how so many artists lose that revenue stream by going all digital. But he said what a lot of them do is they print out the layer of pencils and they ink it by hand and sell that. But that just seems
it's not the same.
Doesn't seem
well,
the same.
It wasn't the same after lettering went digital. I mean, like there's still, but like pages that have the letters on them are still like I'd much rather.
That's the best.
That's the best.
It's the best.
But still, knowing that this is the page that was used to make the book is different than this is a printout that the guy redrew.
Now, what if you got the printout and a signature and a USB stick with the original file?
And what if I got to hang out for a day with the artist? I mean, he drew me a tattoo.
Yeah, there you go. That's the
it's Comic-Con. It's what it is. It's crazy. There wasn't a lot of news though. I would check every night, or when I wasn't too drunk to work the computer.
What about the Eisners?
And Tom and Mitch cleaned up.
I'm just saying, it's good to know us. Historically,
got good picks.
The Brubaker book one, that was a good one.
Yeah,
I thought what I saw. I didn't look at the whole list, but what I saw seemed pretty on point.
Yeah, I was actually surprised. I don't know if I'd read the nominations before, and I was kind of surprised looking through some of them. I'm like, oh, really? There
was one that was, I think it was continuing series where I thought it was a little strange, but
what was the Jeff Lemire one? Was that new series?
Gideon Falls. I think that was new series.
Yeah.
I
feel like I've never even heard of that book.
Continuing, yeah, Connor, I agree. The continuing had me scratch my head.
Gideon Falls, Josh came out. You weren't on the show when we talked about it as a Patreon.
Yeah, so best continuing series was Giant Days from Boombox.
Right.
Yeah. So
that one always comes in third on the patron pick voting.
So short story was Talk of the Saints by Tom King and Jason Fabok and Swamp Thing. Single issue one shot was Peter Parker Spectacular Spider-Man number 310 by Chip.
That wasn't the Tom Taylor one with the sick kid, right? That's
Chip wrote and drew the whole issue. This is last issue on Spectacular Spider-Man.
All right.
Giant Days won Best Continuing Series. Best Limited Series was Mr. Miracle. Best New Series was Gideon Falls by Lemire and Sorrentino. So,
what's funny is that
best writer was Tom King. Best writer artist was Jen Wang from First Second. Best penciler inker was Mitch. Cover artist Jen Bartel.
He won last year.
Yeah.
They
both won.
I forgot about that. I was looking up to see like who won each year, and I was like, wait, he won for this exact same thing last year.
The trick is to have the book go so long that it straddles two Eisner ceremonies.
Mm-hmm.
And then you win twice. You win two.
Smart. It's a smart strategy.
Yeah. So I was pretty happy with it. Ron's here, but the Marvel movie stuff was,
it was. Well, here's what's interesting with the So I'm sure everybody tuned in for the Marvel Studios stuff. And again, let me say any opinions are my own, and they don't reflect my employer, Marvel Entertainment, or the greater Walt Disney Company. What I found fascinating about the studios announcement was, if you really look at everything that was announced in that 2-hour panel, there were only, aside from the cast, there were 3 surprises in that whole thing. Basically, everyone knew an Eternals movie was coming. Everybody knew what the cast was. It's already been reported in the trades that there's that Derrickson was coming back for Doctor Strange. All the Disney Plus shows have already been announced.
Yeah.
Right. It's all the only surprises were who was going to play Shang-Chi, the whole Natalie Portman, Jane Foster Thor thing, and then Mahershala Ali with Blade, and that was it. But I
would say Shang-Chi was a surprise because no one was really talking about who was going to be playing him.
But nobody knew who it was, and so but But to their testament, they're able to make a show that is a spectacle that, like, you know, and admittedly I'm a little biased because, you know, my team was working it and we, you know, we were all in the Marvel office watching along and, like, you know, posting what we needed to post and all stuff like that. And everybody was screaming and, like, looking on social, seeing everybody screaming and all stuff like that. But it's like, I was looking at it, I'm like, yeah, none of this is really groundbreaking.
Not I mean, if they had announced something concrete for Fantastic Four or X-Men, that would have been a big story. But otherwise, exactly. It was like a sequel to a really underwhelming Doctor Strange film.
Well, it is going to be. They're going to let Derrickson do a horror film, which is interesting, and and Elizabeth Olsen is in it, so Scarlet Witch is going to be in it. And if you look at the logo, it's all red. So I don't know anything about the movie, but it seems like
I just mean like the problem is that they're in now is the problem that we've been talking about, or at least I have, is that you get rid of Captain America and Iron Man, and you're not left with a lot. You're left with a lot of B and C characters now that you're asking me to get really excited for. I'm not excited for Shang-Chi. I'm not excited for Doctor Strange. I'm not excited for Blade. I love Mahershala Ali. I'm not excited for Blade.
Yeah. Admittedly, I was shocked that they would, given the history of Blade in movies, like, I was surprised that they would go in that direction. You know, because
why was Stephen Dorff there?
I love the blood rave in that movie.
Well, you know what? Like, Stephen Dorff can go wherever he wants.
No, I know, but what's interesting is he was in the original. So are they just gonna have him come back like Schillinger? Like
he was
Schillinger.
J.K. Simmons.
He was great in True Detective.
Yes, he was
with Mahershala Ali. So there it is. Yeah.
I guess that's why
the motherfucker's always trying to ice skate uphill.
I don't know. I mean, the TV shows are interesting, I guess. I don't know.
It's definitely curious. It's very curious what the next 2 years are going to look like. So
I realize it's only been about 6 months. The ink's probably been dry less than that. But, like, I think people were really looking for an FF X-Men announcement of some sort, like 3 years from now, because it's going to be a while. They haven't even written anything. So, like, you know, at least on some sort of roadmap.
It's important to note, and again, I'm going to press this. I know nothing. I literally don't have any, whatever. But D23 is a month away.
True. So they like to do big announcements there.
Yeah, and so so they depending on what what's going to happen at D23. I think D23 is going to be heavy on Disney Plus because that's a priority for the company and all stuff like that. But you got to assume that they're going to touch on something. But even then, I'm not surprised that it wasn't there because it's too early.
Yeah.
So.
I mean, they haven't even written Thor yet. I mean, these are all very tentative things.
Anything can happen and change.
And then wasn't it last year that they did, or 2 years ago, or no, God, it's been way more than that. I have no concept of time anymore. The fake Captain America, announcement and the
Serpent Society thing, yeah,
and the humans, things change. Things change between now, Hull H, and actual coming to the screen.
Yep.
But I can't think of anything else that was news out of the show, really. DC strangely renewed a bunch of their shows, which means I really believe they're going to fold that into the Warner Brothers app, or I'm sorry, HBO Max.
Yeah, I totally agree with you too. I mean, the fact that Doom Patrol got renewed by HBO is weird.
It was weird. But they also renewed Titans and the cartoon without mentioning HBO Max.
Yeah.
Is it Max?
Yeah, it's HBO Max, yeah. Which is
weird name because it sounds like porn.
It does. It sounds
Cinemax,
like, yeah.
Or Max, the Marvel, the porny Marvel line. Like, it's like,
yeah.
It seems, I keep thinking it's Max, but I think, no, that can't be Max. That's all about
the HBO Max announcement was just bizarre. That was very weird.
Everything, we are all HBO.
Yeah.
So yeah, that was interesting. I'm just waiting for that announcement to well, did you notice in that trailer did you watch the HBO Max trailer?
Yeah.
There was like no movie older than 5 years in that trailer.
Oh yeah. No.
It's like, because one of the big things was what are they going to do with Filmstruck and like, because they were like, oh, we're going to bring it back under the new, but like that was a major thing that happened. They didn't even show one movie older than 2000 in that trailer, in the thing.
Right. So in a similar move to the Doom Patrol HBO thing, what do you think of the Orville moving to Hulu?
I'm not surprised.
That was weird. Do you think that's a fallout from the Disney deal?
I mean, I've heard it does really well. It is expensive.
It's a great show. Great show.
It's a great show. Oh, that gets us the actual exciting news is all Star Trek related.
That was my second question. Was let's talk about Star Trek for a second.
Josh, put your feet up for a while. So there's got to be something going on with I mean, I'm just happy it keeps going. I have Hulu, so that's fine.
Yeah.
But I never thought it'd make it past season 1. So at this point, I was not surprised to see the announcement.
Season 2 was so good.
It was great.
Even
though they had a real big moment and they kind of took the air out of it at the end, but
yeah,
I thought it was still very good.
The time capsule episode was great.
Yeah. I would say this to people in chat, like the number one business of Hollywood is to sell stories, but the number two business is to sell stories about the stories they make. So you can't necessarily believe PR about things.
About why things are the way they are.
Right. So there's a whole business about telling you why things are happening, whether that's true or not. And the same is true in comics. But it could be true that McFarlane need more time, but that wouldn't necessarily keep him off of Fox. It's just that there's a lot of reasons why things happen.
All right. Well, Josh has been quiet. I would like to know what he thought of the Picard trailer.
Move along.
Do you really not have any feeling on Star Trek?
I don't care. I've never cared about Star Trek.
Good.
I've never cared about Star Trek. And I tried. Like, I remember when like Next Generation came out and like it was a thing, and I watched it for a while, but I ultimately didn't care. I think this is because I didn't grow up with a dad. I think this is like a straight up thing. Like, you probably watched it with your dad because he remembered it from the 60s. And like that was a thing. Not you. You're you. But yeah, I don't know. I've never cared. I remember we went to see
watch it because all my friends watched it.
I didn't have friends.
Okay.
No, I didn't have geek friends or like all the people I knew that I grew up with watched sports, and I didn't know anybody interesting until I got to college. So like, I liked Star Wars by myself. You know what I mean? Like that was, but I never had a Star Trek thing. When we went to see the 2008 reboot, and we all had like a really good time at that preview, you know, I made an attempt, I think, to watch Star Trek on Netflix, and I like it, but I didn't want to sit there and watch like days and days and days of it. I watched a handful of them, and I was like, those are fun. I'm good.
Did you watch the films, the original films? Because those were
yes, I almost always saw the films when they came out. But
like everyone,
you know,
that was the weird thing about it. Like it was super neat.
That's more like Harry Potter. Like, you know, it was like a thing that you go see, but I don't really care. You know, like I'm not like a hyper fan, but I saw all the movies.
Right.
Ron, did you watch?
I like it. I just don't.
I'm sorry. What was that?
Did you watch the second season of Discovery?
It is on the summer watching list plan.
I've watched the first half twice. I just can't make it past.
I've been knocking the TV shows down one at a time. I finished Flash, I finished Arrow. I just finished today one of my favorite TV shows, which is extremely underrated, and we'll talk about this in the year-end show. But on FX, the show Better Things, the Pamela Adlon show. Josh, you should watch that show. That show is fucking great.
I don't have FX.
Oh, okay. You don't have FX?
I don't have cable.
Okay. Oh, all right. Well, it's on streaming and what I mean, like, yeah.
I mean, when the FX stuff ends up on streaming, I check it out. But it's not like I'm like, wow, I can't find something to watch.
Yeah, no,
there are 70,000 shows to watch.
And
it's annoying.
Yeah. Anyway, so going back to that, so I'm gonna move to because I'm like 2 or 3 episodes in before I dropped off. So
I want to see what we do in Shadows. Isn't that FX?
Yes, it is. And I was watching Better Things, and because I was watching on YouTube TV, which is basically like a DVR, and there was a commercial for What We Do in the Shadows, and it was Matthew Berry. And I was
Matt Berry, yeah.
I was like, I need to watch that because he's just great. It's just
he's the best.
He's so good.
I've been watching. I didn't watch that. I watched Fleabag recently, which was amazing.
I've heard good things about that. Yeah,
I watched the first season and I enjoyed it. The second season, like the fact that she's written, created, and starring in it, and she's amazing. Like, and there's a couple of really wonderful scenes, and I was blown away by it. And then I started watching From the Earth to the Moon this week. So,
real quick, Ron Picard.
Great. I mean, I'm a little disappointed that the show isn't about Jean-Luc Picard's winery.
Oh, sure.
That's the show I want to watch. It's just like
I'd watch that.
Basically, him running a winery, which I think would be great. But man, it hit the right notes. They did it. Oh, but my other thing that I took away from it is I didn't realize how old Patrick Stewart has gotten.
He's old.
He's old.
It's recent, relative.
Yeah.
Like he looked really, really good for a really long time, and now he just sort of.
Well, he's always been in incredible shape, but he's still in incredible shape for his age. Like one of the things he did was he got in like really good shape in his mid-50s. But like I think even if you go back to Logan, that's when he starts looking like frail.
Yeah,
and he's old.
He's 79 years old.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Right?
So when was Extras? So that would have been, was that 10 years that
longer. That was early 2000s. Yeah.
20.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that would have made him like mid 60s. And he basically was the same as he had looked. Yeah.
Let's see.
Yeah. Early 60s. Early 60s.
Extras, Patrick Stewart. When was that? I'd seen everything.
It was too
late. That was so fucking good. When was Extras?
It's the same problem, Sam Jackson problem we talked about Captain Marvel. You know, it's like at a certain point you can't hide the old body, and
Extras was 13 episodes of perfection, man. That was 2005.
So 14
years ago, yeah. So if he's 80, if he's 79 now, and that was 14 years ago, yeah, he was mid 60s. Yeah,
that's what I said.
Yeah. Good call. Good call.
There's a cliff. I mean, some people that cliff's earlier, but you were like around 65 to 70, you're gonna hit that cliff.
Yeah,
like, there's nobody's 70, and
you can't get around it. I mean, even Harrison Ford, you know.
And we, Robert Redford went off that cliff.
Yeah, I mean, you can stay in good shape and it'll extend your looking younger, but eventually you'll hit it. But luckily with Star Trek, there's a lot of standing around and pointing as opposed to running around.
Yeah.
Looking old. But it looked like, it almost looked like, Ron, a combo. I will get off this in a second for Josh's sake, but it almost looked like a combo of the old show plus those movies. You know what I mean? Like it had that feeling.
It did have that feeling. I agree.
Like a little more actiony, like the movies, but also it had that Next Generation feel. Yeah. I'm really excited for it. Everyone, I've got a long running text thread going with people who are really, talking about it all day long today. It's very exciting. Anything else happen? Anything else? Other news? Top Gun 2?
Oh yeah, did you watch the Top Gun trailer?
Speaking of getting older.
Oh, Josh, tell me you watched the Top Gun trailer. Okay, what were your thoughts of that?
I thought they're not going to let him fly at that age. I definitely thought that. Because he's,
I just like, I started watching it and I was just like, oh man, enough with the shot for shot shit. But then when they played that music, and I was like, oh, I'm in. I don't care. I'm in. Like, I don't even like Tom Cruise, and I'm in, so.
Who's he fighting? North Koreans or the drones?
But that was the thing about the first movie. Like, it makes no sense. We don't know who the enemy is. It's the MiGs.
Russia.
It was Russia.
They don't say Russians. That.
Yes, they do. The Russian MiGs. MiGs are Russian jets.
But MiGs, but like Vietnam had Russian MiGs. China had Russian MiGs. Like,
right, here we go. I just found an article on the website Task and Purpose from 2018. Who exactly was the bad guy in Top Gun?
We don't know. Basically, the MiGs were sold to anybody who we fought. So that's not necessarily that it's a specific country.
All right, so let's break it down. Enemy planes encountered by crews in the closing act of the film are actually F-5E Tiger IIs of the Navy Fighter Weapons School, lightweight aircraft used as aggressor aircraft during exercises in the 80s. The MiG-28 moniker reportedly evolved from a pile of script rewrites, likely a slight nod to the then-secretive MiG-29 Fulcrum.
Way too deep for what anyone cares about.
So
the point being, like, now, like, any actual air combat is going to be too close to nuclear warfare. It was then, too. Like, I just don't, like, if you watch it, you're going to have to suspend your disbelief to an enormous degree.
Yeah.
I think that this film is really going to be about Tom Cruise versus losing his jobs to robots. It's all going to be about
I know exactly what my take was when I saw the trailer. I said that was Cars 3. It was exactly the plot of Cars 3.
Yeah.
Where Lightning McQueen has to realize that his race career is over and he doesn't want to give up to somebody else. And I also thought, I don't think I'd like to work with Maverick. I think he's an asshole. Like, he's the guy, like when he bought his Corvette in 1985 and pulled into the school parking lot where he was the gym teacher, we were like, damn, but he's still doing it, and he has the same haircut, and he's still playing Billy Squire.
Yep.
That's who he is now, and it's very silly.
It's not good.
No.
Was it
What's
better
her name in it? She's not, right? Is she alive?
McGillis? I don't know.
She's probably a 70-year-old woman now.
Let's see the cast. Top Gun Maverick 2020. John Hamm's in it.
Yeah, he was in the trailer.
He was in the trailer.
Jennifer Connelly.
At least they can't bring back Goose.
Oh,
I don't know, man. There's a shot in the thing that looks like Goose is back.
Well, you can do a flashback of Goose.
Son of Goose. Didn't he have a son?
Yeah, it's Goose's son.
You're right. I don't want to see Meg Ryan, though.
The same mustache. And oh, man. Oh, that was pre-Meg Ryan. It was Meg Ryan before she was Meg Ryan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what, the best part of the con this weekend was watching Mike Romo watch the Cats trailer.
Oh, that thing is Uncanny Valley, big time.
I didn't watch that.
It's worth seeing just for the sheer what the fuckness of it.
Yeah.
I mean, what I don't think people understand is that show was fucking terrible. it was a kitsch thing that you went to and that tourists went to because they didn't know any better. It was a terrible slog.
Yeah, no, it's horrible.
It was like 3.5 hours.
Is that why everything was better than it?
Yes. That's the joke. That is literally
not a high bar.
I saw it as a kid and I saw it in college. It's at both ages of media literacy, it was terrible both times. It was a terrible, terrible show.
Well, so many people were freaking out at the CG and like the costumes and stuff like that. And I was just saying to people at work, I was like, what did you expect? Right. Like literally, this is what they did on Broadway, what they're doing in the movies. Like, well, I thought it'd be more like what they did on Broadway, where it's people and it's not trying to cross the line. I'm like, wow, I don't understand why you're surprised by this.
The very idea crosses the line.
Oh, it's horrifying.
I saw Lion King yesterday.
Well, hold on, before you get that, real quick, the last thing, the funniest bit of Mike watching it was, so there's a part in the trailer where they're all fucking dancing and singing Cats. Then one part where they're jumping on a bed and the bed's gigantic.
Yeah.
And Mike's like, "They're little cats."
It's weird.
And the way he said it and the up tilt of his voice at the end, I fell over laughing in the bed.
The forced perspective in that movie is weird. It's like it's.
Who's in it? I saw James Corden. That's all I know.
James Corden, Taylor Swift, Idris Elba.
He'll do anything. He's the best guy who will do fucking anything.
It's really it's problematic.
That guy loves to do an animated movie. Sure.
Lion King, Josh, I have no interest in. I know why you saw it, but I have no interest in it. I have no interest in any of these Disney remakes of the animated films. Every review said it's completely soulless and but like, I have no interest in any of these remakes of the classic films in live action. Zero, no interest.
Well, I didn't even have an interest in the original ones, so like I didn't.
Good.
I don't care though. Like I never saw any of those movies. I've never seen The Lion King. But right away, I was like, "This is the same movie."
It's shot for shot.
It's shot for shot minus the things that made the animated good. Like the cloud doesn't take the form of his father. It's weird. Yeah. It's weird. They made weird choices to kind of use that, to your point, to make it soulless.
And the interesting thing is the original 2D animation. It's full of. We've all seen bits of it, and it's really clear from the thing. The original 2D animation is full of personality, personality and wit and soulfulness, and the CG animals are not.
Yeah. Can I tell you my completely irrational reason to hate the animated movie? So it came out junior year of high school, and it was the weekend of the prom, and I went to prom. Prom was Thursday night. I was a junior. I was dating a senior, and in my world, prom was Thursday night. You took off school Friday, and people went to the Hamptons, or they rented a beach house. Like it was this whole kind of getaway.
Ooh.
And my girlfriend at the time and her group of friends weren't really that type. And so their plan was after the prom, we're all going to go to somebody's house and we'll all sleep over. And then the next day we'll go see The Lion King because it opens on Friday. And I was just like, that's what you want to do with your prom weekend? You want to go to see a Disney movie? And so from that point,
look what happened to you.
I don't like The Lion King. I hated the movie. So
kind of a Disney. I was
well, yeah, but the Disney thing has nothing to do with the movies. See, that's the thing. You go there, but it's not.
All right.
Yeah. The Disney thing's all about the park experience. I could take or leave the characters.
All right, Dame Judi Dench is in the Cats movie too. I forgot about that.
All right, so Josh, tell us about the Lion King movie.
I'd never seen it, but Lindsay really liked it, the first one, and she was like, it felt slower, and I was like, that's really weird. It wasn't good. Like it felt like stuff you could get away with in a movie 25 years ago.
Yeah.
Was still here, and I was like, well, that doesn't make sense. Like you're just telling us to feel this way for no reason. Like it was pointless. It was like Gus Van Sant's Psycho. It felt like the script was from a different time. Luckily, like Seth, what's his name, and Seth Rogen and Billy Eichner were at least funny. And you're like, oh, Billy Eichner can sing. That's interesting.
Was there songs in it?
Yeah.
Okay, so there were songs.
I mean, the technical aspect of the animation was fucking amazing.
Yeah.
Like, really, like, Jesus. Like, I was trying to look for, you know how you used to be able to see when you'd watch CGI? You'd be like, oh, that's it. There was one time I saw, like, motion, and I was like, that doesn't feel right. Other than, like, the mouth sort of moving. So, like, from a technical standpoint, it was amazing, but I was like, you know, Favreau was the guy who, you know, redid, you know, we don't talk about him. Like, he did the first great superhero movie of the modern age.
Yep.
And like no one gives him credit for it, which I think is interesting. But also this was just like it was like an exercise. It was kind of pointless. The first act I was bored out of my mind. I didn't want to go see it. It was like my wife wanted to go see it and the kids agreed, and I was like, okay, I'll go. I'll eat popcorn, whatever. But like it was not good. But animation wise, it was like I've never seen anything like that. That's kind of
well, I assume similar to Jungle Book, because Favreau did Jungle Book too.
Yeah, which I don't think I tried to.
Yeah, I mean, we literally just watched Lion King 2 weeks ago. I hadn't seen it I had never seen it up until that point. But that whole era, that new golden age of Disney films. I mean,
isn't the golden age of Disney film from the 30s?
I said the new golden age.
Yeah, the new golden, or it's the Renaissance or the return, as they call it. It's the Little Mermaids kicked it off. The cat, the cats.
And we were teenagers when those came out, and I wouldn't go see any of them because I was like, fuck that.
Yeah,
I'm not going to see that.
Little Mermaid, Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, Lion King. That's the main run.
Yeah,
and then it kind of dips down from there. You got Mulan towards the end of it, and
I saw Mulan like.
I know every word of The Little Mermaid because that came out in 89 and it was on VHS in 90. And I was a counselor in training at summer camp that summer. And when it would rain, we would just put Little Mermaid in the VCR and let the kids watch that. So I literally know every song. Like, this is what I'm finding as I get old. I can't remember what I said I would do in a meeting earlier in the day, but fuck if I can remember the lyrics to the songs for The Little Mermaid by heart. Or like we're listening, like we're in the car and the radio was on. There was some song or some band or whatever. I'm like, why do I know all the words to this song?
I know every line from Public Enemy's "Fear of a Black Planet" from when I was 12.
But not even things that would be something that you enjoy or like. Like I remember fucking 80s, you know, like Caribbean Queen or something like that. I can't even remember the song.
Melody and your brain being a lot more elastic.
Was that Michael McDonald doing that part?
No,
Caribbean Queen. No,
that's what's
no. But did he sing backup on it too?
No.
Okay, they switched around back then.
That's true. So nothing interesting. I have all that Comic-Con stuff. Okay, so
Billy Ocean. Although, let's see. Yeah, no, it's Billy. No Michael McDonald on that.
They should have called him in. just give us some of your.
So, I kicked the monitor. Josh, the news everyone's talking about. We've been talking on the show about the Adam Strange assance.
Oh right, yeah.
And now Tom and Mitch and Doc Shaner are doing Strange Adventures.
I didn't read anything about it.
There's nothing to read about it. That's all there is.
I know, but so we don't know the breakdown between Mitch and Doc.
No, I mean you can make inferences from what they've shown and said, but it looks like it's some sort of reality situation, and maybe Doc's doing one reality and Mitch doing the other one. But I'm working out in my head. Well, you do this. I mean, like, it makes perfect sense. First of all, it's ridiculous that these were the guys who had to pull Evan onto a big project. Right.
Feels like any editor, editor in the world should have been ahead of that. Instead, it's got to be one of the artist's best friend. Like, who's like, fine, I'll put you in front of everybody. And that's insane, but good on them for doing it. I mean, so what you've got is a character who's a father who is unexpectedly ripped away from his family and then has more duties than he can deal with.
Because that's not Adam Strange's story.
I thought the Zeta Beam pulls him away when
he's got like a girlfriend on Rand, but he doesn't have a family.
I thought he had a kid.
Maybe in another version of it, but not.
Yeah, no, I don't think so. So
not normally.
Yeah, the girlfriend was on
Rand. She's on Rand. Yeah, he falls in love with the girl.
Kid?
No,
I thought that was the shit. You know what? I haven't read a lot of. I swear I've read a Adam Strange story with that.
And there's possibly some story, but that's not the normal.
Is there a run? Is there an Adam Strange run? That's
no.
He's
there's not like a story, right?
Let's see. Definitive
Adam Strange.
Adam Strange.
Like, I just like when he shows up. I like his fin. I like his whole deal, but I don't know that like.
Yeah, no.
There was a daughter.
So he falls in love with Alana on Rand.
Okay, and then her father's like in charge of.
Her father's in charge of Rand.
Right. There was a daughter, like in the New 52, or in 52, and then that Strange Adventures thing that they did with him and Animal Man.
In 52, he was with Starfire, and they were doing. I mean, there was no kids in that one. You may think of Animal Man.
I don't think there's any. Adam Strange.
I know Animal Man. I know what that was.
No definitive Adam Strange story.
No, well, because he's a great side character. He's a great spice you add to the story. He doesn't necessarily have a...
Yeah, and he's got a lot of the Silver Age stuff that is the same comic over and over again, basically, right?
Yeah, it's that old Silver Age sci-fi trope of the big bubblehead sci-fi and ray gun thing. That's what's cool about him. He's like Phantom Stranger. He's a character when he shows up, it's awesome, but doesn't necessarily have a thing. So it looks like in the 1990 limited series, Scott says there was a daughter, Aaliyah, that Alana died giving birth to, but that clearly is not continuity because she's still alive.
Yeah.
There may be a daughter, but she's not like a. That's not him being torn from his family is not part of the story. But we'll see. I'm excited for it.
So. Aaliyah Strange is the daughter of Adam Strange and his wife, Alana. Due to her unusual heritage, she's half Rani and half human. She was born on the planet Rand, being one of the first children born there in a decade. Since most of Rand's population is sterile, Aaliyah is widely regarded as the hope for the generations to come. After the events of Infinite Crisis, her father was blinded and trapped in deep space. Upon his return to Rand, where her grandfather, Sardath, was there to clone new eyes for Adam, blah, 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 with genetic material from Aaliyah. She exists.
Yeah, she's just not in the story, though. The idea of him being pulled away from being a father is not really part of his story.
All right, well.
It could be in their story, but we'll see.
Yeah, I mean, I like that character. I like what those guys do. It'll be super fun. Or deeply just depressing and fun.
So the X-Men news was announced today. I know Ron can't talk about that.
I can talk about it. It was announced yesterday. It was the Dawn of X is the new lineup of X-Men. Basically, after House of X and Powers of 10 comes to an end by October, 6 new books coming out. X-Men by Hickman with Leinil Yu. Excalibur, Marauders, New Mutants, Fallen Angels, and X-Force.
They're not all tied together, though, right?
Loosely, they're all in the whole new world. So, listen, again, I work for Marvel. Opinions are my own. I'm not shilling or anything. I've read House of X #1, and I'm very excited to hear what you and everybody else thinks of it.
Who's doing what that's interesting out of that stuff? Like who are the teams? Just you don't have to tell me them all. Tell me what's interesting.
No, I don't. I know Jerry Duggan's doing one of them. Brian Edward Hill's doing one of them. Teeny Howard. I forget who the artists are.
I think Teeny Howard's doing Excalibur.
Yeah, Excalibur. Yeah, exactly.
With Marcus Toe. I don't know who that is.
He's a solid journeyman.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Let's see. Excalibur is Teeny and Marcus Toe.
Josh, he used to do Robin. That's where you would have seen him.
Yeah. Then Marauders is Jerry Duggan and Matteo Lally. New Mutants is Ed Brisson and Rod Rice. Fallen Angels is Brian Edward Hill and Shimon Kurdansky.
Not gonna work here anymore.
And X-Force is Ben Percy and Josh Cassara. So
I don't know who any artists are anymore. Or I know who artists are who interest me, but then there's like a huge group of people from the double shipping era who I don't know who they are.
I would say, have you seen any of the art from House of X or Powers of 10? Have you seen the covers and the art and stuff floating around? I will say this word for you guys. Imminent-esque.
Well, it's a good way to be.
Yeah.
I would say this to Scott Seaholm in the chat, who says there's an 11 out of 10 chance Hickman's X-Men books will be pick of the week. Josh is not going to read it, so there's already a huge chance.
Why not? You're not going to
read it.
He doesn't like Hickman.
Read it. I don't. I probably won't like it, but I'll read it.
Yeah.
I will say, I mean, it is frustrating, I think, as someone who reads comics, as everyone here does, that the art level is taking a it's taking a shit.
It's a commodity. It's a commodity now. It's really that's my biggest problem. That's my biggest challenge remaining connected to comics art, like not doing the show every week with you guys, so I'm not reading as much as I did or whatever, but I see the stuff that comes through at Marvel. I see the stuff that comes through at DC. I even see the stuff that comes through in the indies. And like, there's no artist I'm excited about.
Well, I've never seen this much sub-professional work coming out of Marvel and DC.
Yeah.
I realize that they have to fill pages like they've never had to before, but like, I am shocked. We didn't talk at all about the last arc of Daredevil. And thank God they're getting a new artist in that book, because I was going to drop it. And that was a book we loved, that arc with Chiquetto.
Yeah.
I've never had a book go 180 degrees on me like that. Like it unprofessional. And there was another one this week too. It's astounding, frankly.
Yeah, stuff.
There must not be enough young people coming up, when to drop.
There are bright spots. I mean, we definitely are talking about books that sort of, and it's not always that the art is amazing, but like the art was a really good fit for the story. I'm thinking of Assassination. It was Erica Henderson. That was a really, wow, this person's great. Or I think I had talked about Crowded at Image. I know there's got to be some folks. We've been talking about Fornes.
Jorge
Fornes. Who's great, but Connor had sent me because he's going to do Daredevil, which is good, but like now that dude's gotten his foot in the door, he has to do more than become a Mazzucchelli act. Like that's Tom Scioli, who he was a Kirby act, and now he's relegated somewhere else. Now you have to step up.
Are you excited for Fantastic Four Grand Design? By the way,
not really. I don't like those books all that much. Who's doing that?
Tom Scioli.
That's not really.
Scioli, doing Fantastic Four.
I'm excited. I think X-Men Grand Design is terrific.
The X-Men was great. But here's the thing: is that I think that Piskor is a much different creator than Scioli.
Right.
Yeah, and yeah.
So I just think if it was Piskor doing it, I would have more confidence.
Yes.
But the fact Scioli is a little bit of a wild card, which could work in some ways and not. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I was going to spend the time. I just go read the originals, but I know it's like a lot.
They're so good.
Yeah.
So good.
No, but I think what Grand Design gives you in that you wouldn't get from the reading originals is an overview that really betrays how insane the X-Men are. When you're reading it issue to issue, you're sort of inside. When you really take a step back and read an overview,
I meant Fantastic Four.
But either way,
because I read the first Grand Design, I was like, that's cool. I still don't care. Like I just don't care.
Yeah.
Like I know it was crazy because I got to the '90s part and I was like, oh yeah, I remember reading this stuff. You know, I don't know. It doesn't speak to me for whatever reason. I don't know. The Fantastic Four one could be more fun because the roots of it, because that X-Men stuff tends to live in its own in the X-Men world. It doesn't really go out, but the Fantastic Four stuff is propagated through everything.
Right.
So it might be resonating more.
I don't know this.
I just don't see anybody getting excited about anybody in comics. That's the whole thing.
And the sales are proving it out.
Yeah, that's for sure.
They just had the latest sales estimate report that was down. I think it was flat, and the graphic novel sales are still down double digits.
Yeah,
which I don't understand. I don't think anybody understands why that's happening.
Well, one of the things is that Barnes and Noble sold and they returned a ton of their stock. Like that, is returnable, but they thought it was good. And so like there was a big market of it that went away because when Barnes and Noble went to sell, they needed to bring down their inventory. So they returned a bunch of it, got a bunch of cash back and dropped inventory, which had a huge impact.
Oh yeah, no, that would when I worked at Image, that would be a killer. When one of the big box retailers would decide that they're done with the stock that they're holding and they're going to return it, you get hit with all those returns, and that's money that you had planned on that isn't coming in. It can kill you.
So, I mean, that's what I understand happened to Vertigo.
Yeah,
it had nothing to do with anything else other than that.
Yeah. Well, it's a combination of things. I mean,
yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's a piece of the puzzle.
That was the nail, though.
Yeah.
It's weird. I mean.
No, I heard a story about Vertigo was that they always operated the comics at a loss because they figured they would make it up in the trades. And then maybe 10, 15 years ago, they stopped making it up in the trades and just nobody noticed or nobody cared. And then recently with the new Warner Brothers, someone's like, what the hell's going on over here? And that's, and then
they got the hit with those Barnes and Noble returns at the same time.
Exactly. And then you factor in the Batman thing, the penis and the adults.
That wasn't Vertigo.
No, I know it wasn't Vertigo, but the whole concept
of it had a ripple.
It had a ripple effect. Exactly.
Well, I think the reason why it's not making money is because the books have not been good since White Last Man. Since Scalped is the last great.
Yeah.
And that wasn't a big seller, but that books haven't. There was never really more than one good Vertigo book at a time.
Sheriff of Babylon was probably the last.
Here's the problem.
Not long running. That was a 2-12 issue.
Yeah, that wasn't that. Yeah, that's not heralded as one of the greats. Sure. Here's the problem with comics. The comics industry as a whole is that the story of the last 15 years has been, hey, this used to work. Let's keep trying it. And refusing to come up with something new or do something different or whatever. Like
right now, it feels like nobody remembers when everything went bankrupt.
Yeah.
20 like, are you kidding me?
Yeah.
You stopped focusing on good stories.
Yeah.
And good art. You stopped doing that. The last time you did that, everything took a shit because you were selling variant covers. Then it crawled up. People started good stories with good art, and it did better.
Yep. And now we're back to selling variant covers.
I can't it's insane.
Yeah.
And the people have a living memory of this.
Yeah.
But I'm sure that there's downward pressure from people who don't know, and that's how that works. But
it's
well, you had back then you had an independent Marvel and you had a DC that was insulated from Warner Brothers. And you don't have either of those things anymore.
Yeah.
AT&T is exerting its pressure on Warner Brothers and Marvel is Disney.
Cell phone comics coming soon to your phone on AT&T. Read Batman on your AT&T. Yeah, it's gonna happen, man. I don't want to end on a downer. Let's end on a high note. Is everyone buying their tickets to see their Fathom event to see the Muppet movie in theaters, which is celebrating its 40th anniversary?
I love you.
That movie is gold, by the way. If you haven't watched that movie recently, that movie is pure gold cinema.
It was on TCM the other day.
Yeah. it's a classic movie. It was funny at work. My staff was asking where they were talking like top 5 movies, and someone's like, "Ron, what are your top 5 movies?" And I gave them my top 5 movies, and somebody was like, "That says a lot about you," because it was like It's a Wonderful Life.
Wait. Oh, I was see if I could do it.
Wait, this is your all-time top 5?
Yeah, all-time top 5.
Okay, Star Wars, It's a Wonderful Life, the Muppet movie. Obviously, we're talking about that, and then that gives us 2 slots.
Goodfellas.
That's where it does get. Oh yeah, Goodfellas. Okay, it lives just 1.
So the 5th one is the tough one.
Is it Clue?
No.
No.
Don't get me wrong. I love Clue, but not that much.
I'm not going to be surprised with what you say.
You won't be surprised. You can guess.
Yeah, I need. You know what? I got an idea. Give me 3 that it might be, and I will tell you which one it is.
No, because as soon as I say it, you'll say that's it.
Okay.
All right.
I know it's really. This is just a matter of me.
Genre.
It's not Jaws. He's not me.
Action adventure.
Action adventure. Indiana Jones.
No.
Last Crusade.
Bingo.
Yeah.
Wait, what'd you say?
Last Crusade.
Really?
I fucking love Last Crusade. It's the best.
You don't talk about it a lot.
Oh, I talk about it all the time.
All the time. He talks about the old knight all the time.
Carrie and I watch it like once every 2 months or so. No ticket. Like I said, constantly.
That's true. I always forget which one that's from. It's just, it's a good.
Yeah. So people in the chat room are responding. Yes, Raiders is a better film.
Yes,
Last
Crusade is my favorite movie.
Yes,
that makes I 100% understand.
Raiders is an objectively better made film. I think Last Crusade is more fun to watch.
Oh, can we end on a? I'll try to make you guys laugh. So at work, there was they named a fish after Black Panther because like it's kind of purplish or whatever. And so I had one of my team write an article about it, and I gave him the headline was "A Fish Called Wakanda."
Did anyone get
that?
You
know that I don't give you credit for things that you didn't earn, and
I was very proud. I was very proud of that one. I was very proud. Even the people who work for me, they're like, "That's a great headline," and I was like, "Yeah." Every now and then, I'm like, "That's why I'm running."
Did you call Paul in on that one?
No, it was all by myself. As soon as I saw it, I screamed. I'm like, "A fish called Wakanda!"
Did any of them know what that was actually referring to?
Yeah. I've got a couple of people who know movies.
I haven't seen it, but I know there's a movie. I know the phrase.
All right, good ending. That was fun.
Right.
July hangout. Sorry I missed you last month.
All right,
last week, but we'll be back in August.
I know it's going to be an adventure in August, right, Connor?
It's going to be sweaty. I think it'll be sweatier.
Yeah.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Bye.
Bye.